even Kiara, it's so wonderful to have you here and to join us on stage to tell us about Equi Energy Youth, and also to provide an update on the charity activities since last year when we also met you, Kiara. So Eve, we might start with you. Can you share with us what Equi Energy Youth does? Give us a little bit of an insight into the work that you do in our community.
Hello? Hello!
That's it.
Hi! Equi Energy Youth, quite simply, they save young lives. And they do that by building capacity in adults to be able to support young people in their mental health. A lot of people, including myself, I guess prior to the work that I've done with Equi Energy Youth, didn't really know how to support a young person in distress. And the wonderful Dr. Stephen Spencer, who's right here, through research, developed a framework called TAR3, the TAR3 framework, which is used to help identify the early warning signs of a child in distress, and then provides the opportunity for the adult to be able to help them through it. And by doing that, I can lessen the frequency and the intensity of these episodes that can lead to long-term mental health issues. I would say that when I began as an ambassador for this organisation, I had no idea the impact that working with Stephen would have on my life and my family. We last year experienced quite a challenging time with my eldest. She was very distressed, had lots of school refusal, quite intense outbursts, and my husband and I were really left feeling very hopeless and not knowing what to do or how we can help that little girl. And so I started to get emotional talking about it. And through the help of Steve, we were able to develop a plan for her where we can support her, where we get to know her better and she gets to know herself better, and she's able to advocate for herself and what she needs, and we as her parents are able to advocate for her and help her through what she needs. So I really, I speak from lived experience of how wonderful and meaningful this work is. And I just want to say a huge thank you, Steve, and to everybody at Equi Energy Youth for their support.
Thank you, Eve. Now, Kiara, can you explain your connection? Eve, if you can pass the microphone along. Kiara, can you explain your connection to Equi Energy Youth and tell us your story?
Yeah, so I was around 14 or 15 when I was first hospitalised for my mental health. From the ages of 14 to 17, I was hospitalised for my mental health over 10 times. Throughout my periods of being in hospital, I was lucky enough to meet and be nursed by Dr. Steve. I was going to keep this really professional, but while he's here this year, I just thought I would mention that he would come into my room at 7 a.m. every morning. Now, I was struggling with my mental health, but I was also a moody teenager at the best of times. And he would come into my room and say, "Good morning, little buddy, how are you today?" And I would think, oh my goodness, who is this guy and why is he waking me up and asking how I'm feeling? I'm obviously tired. As Eve has mentioned, Steve has been providing TAR3 training all around the country, providing educators, health professionals, educational professionals, parents and adults on how to best support young people in crisis. When I was struggling with my mental health, I was significantly isolated from my peers. As a result of being in hospital and my poor mental health, my attendance at school, to put it lightly, was not very good. I can't put into words how beneficial it would have been for me to have teachers at school who knew how to respond to my situation. Steve worked closely with my family to educate them on how to respond to my mental illness. It was after this education was provided to those around me when I first started noticing a positive change to my mental health. Since that time, I moved out of home. I began studying a double degree of law and criminology, which I'll be graduating next year. I work at a law I work at a law firm, and I attribute a lot of my progress to Dr. Steve and the work he did with myself and my family. I was lucky enough to maintain contact with Steve, who told me about his plans to found Equi Energy Youth. I was fortunate enough to be asked to be a youth ambassador for Equi Energy Youth. I couldn't be more proud of Steve and the team at Equi Energy Youth for engaging in work which is so important to supporting young people.
Thank you, Kiara. What an inspiration you are. Eve, last year we raised $18,000 for Equi Energy Youth right here. At this particular event, $18,000. How will that sort of money, or how will any more fundraising help with Equi Energy Youth this year? How do you expect it will be used, and why is it so important?
Yes, well, by 2030, we would love to see every adult in Australia know the TAR3 framework. You know, when we think about physical first aid, you know, we know Dr. ABC, and everyone knows that. We have that kind of that language around how to help someone with in physical crisis, and we want that same impact for psychological first aid. So by 2030, we want the outreach. We want to be able to be teaching adults how to support young people and really creating really strong infrastructure around young people and their mental health.
Well, thank you.